Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I want to share with you some tips on how to stay organized as a stay-at-home mom, and I'm going to break this video into 3 different parts. That will be cleaning tips, activities / schedule tips, and when it comes to food. I'm a stay-at-home mom, not any sort of pro by any means, pero aquí estoy tratando, and these are some things that have helped me get through my days, I guess, a little more organized. As we go through the video, please comment down below if you have any thoughts, anything you totally agree with, anything you totally disagree with, or any extra tips that you may have. Let's get into it. Let's start with cleaning. One thing that I find myself doing all of the time is when I am going from one place to another, one room to another, basically anytime I'm walking, moving, I'm bringing something from here to there. For example, maybe there's toys in my bathroom. So when I go to the bathroom, then I pick up that toy and I bring it with me and drop it off in the kids' bedroom as I'm coming back to the living room. O si hay zapatos en la sala, I take those with me when I'm going over to the bedroom and I put them in the closet. This is such a constant thing. There's always misplaced items all over the house when you have kids, and this is something that has helped me so much. Another thing is I try, and I know it helps that I have a bigger house now and I actually have space for everything. Back when we lived in an apartment, era un poco más difícil. We didn't really have a spot for everything in the house, but as much as you can, make a spot for every single thing in your house. And if you don't have a spot for it, ask yourself, maybe, can you get rid of it? Again, things are always misplaced, but it is way easier to clean. It is way easier to keep clean if you have spots for things. For example, when I come in the house, I have a hook for my key. I put the key on the hook, right? Whenever I end up having to do deep cleaning or whatnot, there's always stuff that's gonna be sitting around that seems like it doesn't have a place. But if I take the extra 5 minutes, well, even like a couple seconds per item to put things in their place, then it's so much cleaner and less cluttered, over the next coming days or weeks if I'm lucky. When I bring mail in the house, I put it, well, sometimes it goes on the table first, let's be honest, but I try to get it into a basket that I have for mail, and then I'm going to talk about this in the more scheduling part of the video, but I go through all the mail in one day of the week, get it all done, and I organize it from there. Some things like mail, they do have a transition spot, which is not great. I don't love that, but I'm honestly not getting to mail every single time I check the mailbox. I don't enjoy that. I don't want to. So it does have a transition spot, but at least it has a spot, right? Make sure things have places. Otherwise, we end up piling things on top of surfaces where it just doesn't need to be. And personally, when my house is super cluttered and just random places have random things, I tend to be much less patient with my kids, with my spouse. Days are just feel more cluttered. And when you're actually sitting down to clean, these are a couple of things that I really like. First of all, put everything in the center of the room if it's possible, especially the living room. I always do this. Just kind of push everything to the middle of the room. Y a veces esto pasa. I have a clingy child, so I'm having to hold him while I'm trying to clean. So I have to use my feet to push stuff around, and that's a lot easier to take that time when your kid is clingy to just push stuff to the middle of the room in anticipation of cleaning un poco más tarde, maybe. So once you have everything in the middle of the room, kind of organize it into piles. I kind of forgot about this for a while, but yeah, we used to do it as kids all the time. We would organize, okay, this is all goes in the garbage. This stuff all goes in the bookshelf. This all goes in the toy box. These are for the block box. So if you organize into piles while you're just sitting in one place, it's much easier to then get everything, like take it all and put it away instead of bringing one block over there and then one piece to the garbage and then walking over there to the bedroom, like all these things. Speaking of bringing toys or whatnot from one room to another as well when you're dedicated cleaning, or even when you're not. For example, if you have an upstairs, we don't, but you might have a basket at the bottom of the stairs that you put stuff in as you go past it that need to go upstairs, and then once you go upstairs, you bring the whole basket, right? And I think I learned this trick actually from Carissa Nunez. I will link her channel right here and down below as well. So she has said, as you're cleaning, put stuff into a box or basket or or whatever you have to then bring a whole box of stuff into another room instead of, again, walking back and forth several times while cleaning. Saves you a bunch of time and a bunch of walking. But if you want to get your steps in, that would be great too. I have pretty low steps today. Moving on to activities / schedule stuff. If you do things that are scheduled quite a bit, if you have a lot of scheduled activities throughout the weeks, months, I don't, but I've heard Sarah Therese was a YouTuber, is no longer doing YouTube, but she's on Instagram. But I will link her down below as well if you're interested in checking that out. She has 4 kids, so actually maybe 5 by now. She also did homeschooling, so she would do a calendar on the wall by the breakfast table and would put images of different things that are going on throughout the week so that the kids can look at the calendar and know, okay, today we're going to see grandma and grandpa or whatever it may be, you know. The only thing I do consistently is daycare, 2 veces a la semana. And my kids, I feel like, aren't quite old enough. They don't really care. They're super flexible anyway. Maybe at some point I'll do this, but we don't have that much going on. And then the other thing I like to do for activities schedule is I try to do sort of one dedicated thing per day of the week, and I'll get more into this. Saturday or Sunday is usually shopping and then meal prep day, and I'll talk a little bit more about food in the next section, but getting up the motivation and energy or just getting in the mood of a certain type of task, it's way better to just do a bunch of the same type of task in one sitting than have to do a 5-minute task here and there and the other day and the other day. Porque empezar es lo más difícil. Am I right? Sometimes it's just that nudge that you need to get started. And once you're started on something, you're like, oh, I'm good. It's no big deal. So once you get started, you might as well keep going, right? I have Monday as an admin day where I do mail, clean out my email, go through my physical mail, pay bills, make any appointments if I need to, check any information type of just tasks, little mosquito-y things that I just don't like. But if I think of them throughout the week, I'll put them on a to-do list and they go under my admin to-do list that I do on Monday. Then with my YouTube schedule, I tend to, I'm gonna kind of mix up the days here a little because I film on Friday for my Tuesday mastermind. So I'll film it on Friday and then leave it, and then Monday I edit. So Monday is usually an editing day, and then Tuesday sometimes I'm finishing it up if I didn't finish it on Monday, and I'll do subtitles and upload stuff. And then I'll also do another filming day on Tuesday for my Saturday video. So that also means sometimes some scripting on Monday, maybe on Friday, maybe on Saturday if I have the time, or some, you know, rough outlining of videos. Wednesday, Thursday, heavy editing days. Friday, I usually try to either wrap up my video or have it done on Thursday so that on Friday I can just do subtitles again for Saturday's video. Or like today, I'm filming 2 videos in one day. Hello.
Hi, honey.
So yeah, just kind of grouping like activities onto the same days. When it comes to food, I try to grocery shop on the weekends. Doesn't always happen. Obviously, all of these things, they're ideals. They're not perfect. I don't always do them exactly this way, but try to grocery shop on the weekend. And as I said, meal prep. I have done meal kit delivery services a few times, and that makes it so easy for me. I could just take all the stuff out of the box, prep it all on Sunday, have it during the week. Some of it goes in the freezer because they're for more of the end of the week or easier freezer type of stuff. Or I've also done Sunday meal prep days where I'll actually grocery shop on Saturday, or else I will do a grocery pickup because that makes things maybe a lot quicker. You don't have to deal with kids in the grocery store anyway, I guess is the biggest thing. So I'll just go pick up the groceries, and then I have a whole list of recipes that I will make for the freezer. So I have those throughout, not specifically for the week, but over maybe a couple months, that whenever I have a let's just throw something in the crock pot day, I can just easily do that. I have struggled with trying to make a meal plan. I'm not a super planny type of person. I don't specifically put things, okay, Monday we're having this for supper, Tuesday we're having this, Wednesday we're having this. I kind of have options that I might grocery shop for, have vague ideas or, you know, kind of some go-tos like spaghetti or what else? I don't really know. I can't think of anything right now. Gallo pinto. But I do try to have an idea of meals when I go to the grocery store or get some groceries, because otherwise you have kind of a pile of random things and you don't really know what to make either. But if you have any meal planning tips, comment down below, please. I would love to hear them. But the meal prepping has definitely helped me. It's the meal planning that's, I don't know why that's the harder part. Then when it comes to the actual meals, breakfast, I basically have two options, either oatmeal, which I call burua, it's Finnish for hot cereal, I think. We pretty much have eggs almost every single day. I usually eat it with a toast or a tortilla and cream cheese. Lunch, I try to have enough leftovers from supper the night before that we can have lunch and I just can reheat something, or we do maybe P&Js or ham and cheese sandwiches. Something simple, fast, don't really have to think much. And then as I said, supper, I try to either have meal preps, sometimes we do simple meals. Usually once a week we end up going out for supper. Y así vamos, more or less. That's kind of an overview of what we do to stay organized over here. Me, at least as a stay-at-home mom, what I do to try to keep my household more or less organized. Again, let me know if you have any tips, advice for not just me, but the community, everyone else out there. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Hit that thumbs up if you got something out of this video, and we'll see you next week. Bye.